Meeting to order for November 4th, Town of Coronation. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there anything to add to it?
No additions for me.
I'll move the agenda as presented.
Mark moves to have the agenda. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of minutes.
I just noticed at the end, it still has Matthew for signing.
October 24th or October 21st.
Yeah. That I didn't know.
I noticed, 2024 371. It says I move to go in a closed section. And then the next one was Cody Helmer moved to go into closed session.
Oh, okay.
Mine should be out of there. I'm pretty sure it was Cody moved that. Anybody say anything else? Say,
Sorry, what was the number on that one?
371. 2024-371.
yeah, 371 and 372.
Well, I can move them with the amendments.
Accept it with the changes, all in favor? Carried. Organizational meeting, the 21st of October 2024. Notice for our meetings getting into next year, it has June 9th and 23rd. That's the 3rd and 5th Monday.
Okay.
Was there a reason with?
No, sorry, that might be a typo.
Yeah. No. It's 16th and 30th. Oh, it's 9th and, it's right. I put them in wrong. So,
Okay, good.
Disregard. I'm just checking too.
Yeah, it is second and fourth.
yeah, no, they're right. I just had them in wrong for some reason.
Okay.
And I couldn't move that table on there for some reason. It kept putting the R's off the all the R months.
Yeah.
Let me make it bigger for some reason, so.
The organizational meeting minutes.
Accept those minutes, all in favor? Carried. Bylaws. 2024-703 municipal development plan, first reading.
Okay, so we had actually discussed the municipal development plan earlier this year. The only difference there was we didn't actually give it a bylaw number at the time, and we didn't do first reading on it. So we're just kind of gonna reset here and kind of start over from the beginning, and we're gonna ask for council to give first reading tonight. The only changes that have been made to the municipal development plan was to change some of the classifications for the employment district. They originally industrial kind of mix, but now it's just called employment. So then what we want to do from there is the document is unchanged as far as everything else goes. There was a couple of map issues that we got fixed as well, and a couple colors on the map that were wrong. Those got corrected. So the document was provided to council for review, and that's online. So in order to move forward, we need first reading on this, and then to go back, we'll do another public engagement for this process. And then once we've done that public engagement, we can come back to council for a second reading and then discuss if we want to go for a second public engagement or not. But we are required in the Municipal Government Act to have a public engagement after first reading. So The document itself is, we did review it and I did get so Palliser Municipal Services has another planner that did review it and she did some editing on there and altered it, and made sure it was to legislation and it's in compliance with the Municipal Government Act as well as the other relevant acts with the local energy board and all those, or not the local energy board, the Alberta Energy Board. And all those guys as well. So everything is up to 2024 standard now under the provisions, so.
To the public hearing or engagement, could that be done, say even with our upcoming town hall meetings that night, just to?
It usually can be done during a council meeting.
I just thought we might have more people.
That one anyway.
What's
And
that?
we could probably have this one sooner,
Yeah,
unless we know when the provincial government can supply somebody to help with the town hall.
Yeah, and I still haven't heard back from them for that, so I would probably suggest that this public engagement for the land use bylaw or the municipal development plan, sorry. And then the amendment for the land use bylaw, which is the next discussion we'll have, they can be at the same time on the same night. And we would probably suggest December or January, early January.
Okay.
Then we can get the documents circulated. We already had the post reports out for quite a number of months out in the front lobby here, so we still have those. Those can be put back out if council wants. I don't see any harm in doing that. I think it probably, they can just put them back out for a little bit. Do with Christmas, I'm just wondering, it might just be too much.
I'm just wondering.
Something between now and Christmas, when it could, or you can do it at the last council meeting in December too. We didn't have any feedback on the last engagement, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Excuse me. You're just looking for first reading then?
Correct.
I can make a motion. 2024-703 municipal development plan, first reading.
First reading, all in favor? Carried. Do we want to put a date for this, for a hearing?
We would appreciate if we could get a date, yeah, because I'd have to let the planners know and municipal or Policy Municipal Services know as well, so. Staff to make sure that they're,
Well, why don't we aim for the last council meeting in December?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
If it doesn't work, then
we still got time to.
still good time.
On the 23rd?
22nd. Yeah, 22nd.
23rd.
23rd, yeah. 22nd is Sunday.
Yeah, so I'm in 2025.
I thought maybe I was.
I forgot I jumped ahead for the June meeting next year.
did we not? We were,
I was gonna say, is everything all screwed up or changed now because we're on the odd Monday right now because of Remembrance Day?
just gonna look on the website here. I think this year was 16th, maybe, I can't remember.
So I was wondering, did we,
Yeah, I thought we were just having,
are we rotating every 2 weeks till the end of the year now? From
I
this,
thought this month we were just.
That's what we kind of did.
No, it was 9th and 23rd.
It's just this month that we switched it because.
Yeah. Also, it would be the 23rd, sorry. I'm thinking 25 as well.
Yeah, 23rd. Need a motion for that then?
Try and have
that
the,
might be a tough one.
on the
I was just
16th,
gonna say that might be
So
tough.
that might be a tough one to get
and
some.
just have them on the 16th and.
I have something on the 16th, but
Yeah,
We could just push it into January.
Yep.
We can do the,
but I'll double
First or
check.
second meeting.
This might change too, right?
yeah. Then it gets hard to line everybody else up.
Well,
I know,
and if we can't, as long as the majority of us are here.
yeah,
What about even the first meeting in January?
the 13th,
Mhm.
that should work.
Then we're not battling Christmas.
Yeah,
probably be better for planner too.
Gives them a little more heads up. Well, I'll make a motion then that we have the public hearing for January 13th.
okay, all in favor? Carried.
you'll let us know if that works.
I will also.
Mark it in for calendar.
Yeah, so I don't forget.
2024-705 land use bylaw amendment.
Okay, so, in order for the CMHC Alberta Housing project that last number of years, and also with the discussions with the private entities looking at affordable housing and housing projects. The two locations that we've been discussing at length are currently commercial, which does not allow for high density housing or modular units or any sort of development. So the land use bylaw would need to be amended through a bylaw that allows that classification underneath the commercial to be changed to allow as a discretionary use for high density housing and apartment style. So that we could move forward with the CMHC housing project, or if a private corporation or business wants to do some sort of development on there, that those parcels of land are allowed to have that development. So we're looking at 5117 to 5129 Railway Avenue, lots 27-28, block 1, plan 8149 AH. 5006 to 5016 Windsor Avenue, lots 13-21, block 9, plan 8149 AH. So that would be what the two locations that we've been discussing at length use would need to be changed over, but be allowed underneath the land use bylaw. And again, currently it's C1, so it would still remain C1, but it'd just be the sites, sorry. The sites are currently C1 commercial district. Dwellings are not listed as a C1 district except for where they exist already or are attached to a building. There are a number of ways to amend the land use bylaw to accommodate housing at each site. One is to rezone the sites to the current R1 district, where detached dwellings and 2-unit dwellings are listed as permitted and apartments are listed as discretionary. It appears to be an error upon adoption of the new land use bylaw that the dwelling townhouses was not listed as either a permitted or discretionary use, and it should be addressed as well as part of the amendment. The R1 district contains appropriate regulations for such residential uses. The discretionary use development permit rules for apartments and townhouses are to appeal to the subdivision and the development appeal board. Adding the desired residential and residential uses and regulations to C1 district, while it may be preferable to see mixed use development, commercial on ground level fronting the street with residential dwellings on the upper stories. It's not uncommon for higher density dwellings to be located within or near commercial core. Typically, apartments and townhouses may be included in discretionary uses as a C1 district and a specific setback and other applicable development regulations as well. So that's basically the gist of where we're asking. And then again, this would also need to be receiving first reading tonight, and then council would have to hold a public hearing as well, which I would recommend on the same night as the MD development plan. So you can kind of do both at the same time and then have discussion further there. So
Adding residential uses to C1 would there'd be more stuff you could do on C1 than if we changed it all to R1.
correct. Because it kind of allows the whole.
Might be kind of the best, because it depends who gets there first to develop something.
Yeah, we can use it in all of C1
Yeah.
Right.
versus just kind of specific or being specific to one land location.
If it goes to R1, then I think we'd have the extra use to the C1 district. And
I don't have a problem with it. Just that being said, I'd entertain a motion to give first reading to the amended bylaw 2024-704 for or sorry, to amend the bylaw. 2021-684. Get that all spit it out right.
And that's to.
Yep, to convert.
Add to.
Yep, to add.
C1.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. And so we want to move, we do it in January.
On the 13th?
Yeah.
You can do that.
Mark moves out, all in favor? Okay. Community engagement, 8.1. Background proposal.
Okay, so this was the request to have a town hall meeting. I have been in contact with Municipal Affairs and I am waiting to hear back from them. They are unable to make the November 25th date work the council had set, so they have not responded back to me as of yet of dates that they have available. Just waiting to hear back from them, so I'm just asking if council can postpone that public engagement until we hear back from Municipal Affairs on dates that they're available to be in attendance. And to help facilitate the discussions.
We better keep writing them about this
Mhm.
to get it something set.
Get something done.
Yeah, like it's been a month now since.
Just make sure we communicate it out there too, that it's been. So everybody's aware.
Sure we. Just not answering emails or picking up the phone and phoning them or. Like,
I had to do a survey and I had to send an email out and it has no, it's kind of like a first come, first serve kind of idea, so they get back to you, there's no contact to a specific person, but I'll try and reach out to a couple of people and see if I can't get any information.
Sooner we could get it going, the
Mhm.
better.
Absolutely.
So we should probably just accept this as information for now.
But
If
if
we have direction to,
I would have to, you'd have to postpone that other meeting that you set. We'd have to. The meeting
was
with.
that a set date or was that a proposed date, depending on
No,
getting
we did set it.
people?
We just said it because it worked good for council.
I thought it was a possible town hall day. Somebody want to make a motion that we postpone it till we can hear from municipal affairs with somebody to help us.
Yeah, I can make that motion.
Brett moves that motion. All in favor? It's carried. Do you want direction to reach out to him?
Sure.
Ben, or you'll just do it?
No, actually direction would be good, and that way I can.
make that a motion.
Mark, make that motion.
Administration direction to harass municipal affairs till we get an answer.
Maybe not use that word.
Yeah. Give him Quite a leeway of time. to set that
Yeah.
up.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mark makes a motion, all in favor? It's carried. Council meeting dates for 25 by budget deliberations.
Okay, so last year we had 2 or 3 budget meetings, just kind of bring it back again this year for additional conversation, so. Whether we want to start doing them sooner than later, we can start this month or next month, or if you want to push this into the new year, but I think it was good conversation last year, so we should probably keep going.
Mhm.
My only concern was the every Tuesday thing, just because of board meetings and stuff. But
And that's just this,
like if we could do it even,
Can we just do an earlier one before our
I'd say you-
council meeting in December, like the first council meeting in December? Can we just start earlier and have a
yep,
pre-budget meeting that one and then have another one in January?
yep,
I'm good with that.
Mhm.
Just start.
and decide if we want more after that, yeah.
How early do you want to start? Like
We'll be passing it in
too early or?
interim budget.
5 January morning.
I figured, that's why I asked.
5:30, I can usually be out of there by. But yeah, if we could start by 5:30 or whatever. That would work.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's the 9th we have, right? Just the first of December.
I believe that's what we just said. Can't remember. Yeah,
Nice.
5:30,
Mhm.
sure.
make that a motion. Or do we need that emotion? You just need direction to do that.
No, we'll need a motion because it'll be a meeting of the public, so.
Okay, I'll make that a motion now. That's set to have a budget meeting at 5:30 on December 9th prior to our regular meeting of council.
Mark moves we have a budget discussion December 9th at 5:30 before our regular council. All in favor? Carried.
Do you want to set one for January?
January 1 too, maybe I should have done both in one motion.
We could just start, no, just, I actually, yeah, do one for January and then in January we could always decide if we want to do more.
January the 13th, 27th, right? Go with the 27th maybe for January?
Sure.
Or
Yeah, because the
just,
13th, we already have
Public hearings.
public hearing.
That'd be good because then we can advertise them or put it out there anyway.
Well, I'll make the motion then to have the second budget planning meeting on the 27th at 5:30.
Brett moves we do January 27th, 2025 at 5:30 for a budget discussion. All in favor? Carried.
I'm putting it in my phone. There we go. Perfect.
9.2. Communicate.
Okay, so I was approached, so when we went to the Alberta municipalities, we had talked to a couple of different places about, or well, during the trade show, we had kind of gone around and viewed a few booths and this company reached out to us after the municipal trade show or the Alberta municipalities trade show. Who wanted to try a product for our size community and are giving us, they would like to give us a 12-month free of no charge app for communicating with public. So they want us to try their product out and see how it works. Their product is well known and it's used in the larger urbans a bit more so just because of the cost of it, but I kind of told them that we didn't have that kind of money and no way we could afford that. So they came back and said they would like us to just try it out and just see how we feel about it and how we like it. And if the product is something that we like, then they'd be willing to have conversations down the road about the cost and how to make that work better for us. So their biggest push was to make sure that we could get information out to the
Mhm.
there's the total breakdown there was provided to council in a PDF there, so the total breakdowns on what it would normally cost for development setup and all that, so. Once they've set this up, we do own it, so it's not like they're gonna own the rights to the whole thing from, because we're not paying for it, but they are giving us that and work with us, so. A company called Aviva, marketing led design, and they do marketing led design and technology engineering based company in Edmonton. They've developed the Communicate platform, an app designed to serve as an additional communication tool for municipal leaders and administrators. This app allows important information and messages to be shared directly to the community members through push notifications, ensuring timely and controlled communication. Communicate is currently available for implementation with the development lead time averaging around 30 business days.
doesn't the county have an app too that they use
We've
for,
got Buoyant, yeah.
what kind of cost is that one?
I'm not sure. I'd have to find out.
I'm just curious, like, don't get me wrong, like, I like the 12-month free trial is a great thing, but it's just one of them things like, if afterwards it's gonna be 10 grand for a year, it's to be pretty pricey.
Exactly, yeah.
I it had in the back here and communicate that it was 200 and something.
I was just gonna
a
say
month.
there's a monthly fee too, yeah.
Yeah,
I just saw it,
Any-
$290 plus the flat fee.
That's $9,700 usually for the installation,
Creation of it, yeah.
which originally that was, I believe, even more than that. So when I talked to them, they brought that down and then they decided to waive it completely. So
You're still looking at 2,500,
a year, yeah.
yeah, close to 2,500 a year, that's still.
And I didn't make any promises to them and
Yeah.
told them that after a year, maybe a no, and it's just a simple fact of it. So they were fine with that too.
Could we possibly just table it for now and just see if you can get some more information on this other company and just see.
Or just see what,
If we can.
what other kind of companies have
Yeah.
monthly fees and stuff too, just,
Or do you want them to have a presentation to us?
I can get these guys to do
it wouldn't be a bad idea.
It's not a terrible idea either.
And I know more and more people are going online for stuff, but is a large enough percentage of our population online that
I don't
would
know.
work.
Yeah, because we
There's
still
still-
want to get the biggest bang for our buck.
Well, yeah, and you still wanna. Some people still get their information from talking to people or
Oh, yeah.
at the coffee shop, but. We,
Well, I can definitely reach out to them because I think they'd be more than willing to.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if we do the 12 month free, the development fee is waived. And then we decide to do it, do we get charged a development fee?
I believe we don't, but that's something I
I
can,
believe we don't, but that'd be something.
That's questions we could ask.
Yeah, I kind of took it, but
because it's, they said they're waiving it, so,
Well, yeah, for the free one, but
yeah.
that's,
Definitely something we can clear up, but
I'll just ask him that.
as far as I understood, they were just gonna waive it, period. It wasn't, there wasn't any hidden agenda. They just wanted us to try the product, so.
I'll make a motion that we just table it for now, but you can reach out to them and see if they can possibly come out and maybe do a little presentation. And
Rest our
we
delegation.
can still maybe look at just some other options out there too. Okay, for information.
That moves we table this and ask them if they'll bring a delegation out and to discuss this. All in favor? Carry. 9.3. Update on the Alberta Interim Police Advisory Board activities and police funding model.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was basically set out from the president of Alberta Municipalities, basically requesting municipalities kind of join them in their endeavors to try and get more community involvement and community say in the policing, especially for RCMP. They've been trying to do the provincial police service agreement, and basically what they're looking for from all municipalities in Alberta is to support the progress on that and moving forward and trying to get more safe, especially because municipalities are contributing a large sum of dollars towards police force. So they're hoping that they can negotiate with the federal government to allow municipalities to have say within their communities directly and not have to go through Cape Division Command, for example. So it'd be more an immediate here and on the boots on the ground discussion, having them show up as our police force and basically having the detachment commander come to a council meeting and be the chief of police in your community and have them show up and directly have that engagement with the local level, not at the higher level. So this is what this document basically is, in a summary, is trying to push for. So there, and then it does talk about, there's the vacancy rates have been reduced a little bit. They have gotten extra boots on the ground over the last couple of years. So they've, the last, I believe, couple of years, they've gotten 279 more additional police officers in the RCMP, and the 242 civilian roles have been filled as well. So they are trying to fill gaps as the RCMP as well. So they're trying to push for more, but obviously there's more advocacy that needs to be done through the Alberta municipalities to continue that discussion and get more bang for the buck for the municipalities.
And even if they stick to the 30% payment, we may get a raise because the cost of policing is higher. But they're not sure they're gonna stick at the 30%.
There's no guarantee.
And they don't have a breakdown of how many of these extra police officers were in rural, or are they all?
I'm assuming a lot of them are cities in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
But now I've also know that Grand Prairie is moving to its own police force, so I don't think there'll be much.
Grand Prairie go with the Alberta, them and the Alberta Police Force.
I've heard a couple of different things, but I'm pretty sure they're going with their own police force, so.
Well, they're getting big enough.
Yeah.
Oh, so just
I was just
accept
reading.
this as information or and keep working on them or?
So I think one of the things that they were asking for. Was to prepare for Bill 6, so that would be the provincial advisory board and relevant municipal regional committees. So I think they're just trying to make sure everyone's up to speed on Bill 6. And then I believe staying in touch with, you could accept this information, and if later on, if they require a letter of support for their advocacy to the RCMP, we can always provide.
Is there anybody else in the region or what are they thinking of for that Bill 6? How big a region are they gonna have?
That I don't know. It'd be
You know,
orders that they'd have to stop.
has anybody else of our local communities talked about, you know, forming a board or are they even allowed to?
I was just wondering that.
All the questions we gotta find out through Bill
Yeah.
6, so.
Yeah,
A lot of unanswered questions.
And then Bill 11 is the other one that we
Mhm.
look for is for adequate police funding support through new policing initiatives and agencies are created under Bill 11 to avoid another municipal cost burden. I know Bill 11 is also another thing to be on the radar for everyone to look out for. See,
Yeah.
that could get us.
It's gonna cost us more money and it's downloaded to residents so again, so
Mhm.
it's just another way to say they're cutting taxes and then we're raising
Yeah,
taxes.
Yeah.
exactly. You guys look like the bad guy.
I guess forced under our justice.
At this point, then just accept his information.
Yeah.
I'm willing to make that a motion unless anybody has any other.
Brett moves to accept this as information. All in favor?
And
Okay,
you also had here too about writing a letter to advocate for increased GPOT funding.
Yeah.
Either that or they gotta start paying taxes on their buildings in the municipalities. That would help.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that Tyler Gannon, the president of Alberta Municipalities, is advocating for right now is the GPOT. So if any, for everyone else,
9.4, right next one.
yeah, so that'd be, the GPOT stands for Finance in Place Property Taxes. So we, as town, have lost quite a bit of money through that program, not getting taxes for certain provincial buildings and stuff like that, so it does actually affect us, and we're asking for the town to identify how much in lost taxes from the province that our municipalities impacted by, and then send that to them so that they can build a database and then send that to the provincial government, advocate on it. So, and then we'd like a letter from council stating that those are the issues and that the council standpoint on it.
No, absolutely.
Now, do we have any idea how much roughly they in a year should be paying? And how much they do?
I haven't started working on it yet, but we will get you that
Would
number.
be,
Sure, it'll be
Something to do
surprising
with it.
because it's,
it'd be surprising. We probably wouldn't have to raise taxes one of these times. They paid their full.
20 grand.
that's what I said, it'd be surprising.
That's it.
What's the lease that?
I was just saying.
I would say that's still very low end.
Yeah,
Well. Yeah, I was gonna say it should be low end when you consider all the buildings that the government owns, in theory, hospital, school, provincial building. Like
manners,
manors,
Yeah.
A deal.
Hey. yeah,
way more than 20.
yeah, it better be more than 20. Yeah, you were being generous.
You just started adding in your head, it'll get higher.
Let's go for quadruple that.
So we're gonna authorize a presentation of a letter to
I'll make that a motion.
Dennis McIver and AB Muni's president Tyler Gannon with details. of-
And CCRMLA on it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd like all that too. Mark moves We need to write the letter, all in favor? Okay. The council encourage other impacted municipalities to do the same. Promoting a collaborative effort for reinstating funding and support for election counting equipment.
I apologize for us. We don't have a voting counting equipment, so.
Yeah.
But
That part.
I left it in there because other communities do have tabulator.
Oh, yeah, affects them.
I also believe that there's legislation now that says you can't have a tabulator, so.
I think we should advocate amongst other municipalities to, because everybody is impacted by it.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
I think Edmonton brings it up at every AB Munis meeting.
Just good because they're the biggest.
Yeah. Well,
They've got a couple $100 million of lost revenue, so.
but yeah. Do we want a motion or just direction?
Direction's probably fine.
Everybody's in favor of that one.
Pardon yawn, sorry.
1.5, purchase of vehicle lift from Clearview Public Schools for town public works.
Okay, so I was approached by Public Works, Clearview School Bus Depot no longer will be doing servicing of their buses here in town. So all of their buses are gonna be shipped down the road. So they do have a power lift there for lifting the buses, to do oil changes. Tire rotation, stuff like that, so maintenance work. Public Works is inquiring if they could purchase the lift from Clearview, for 15,000 is what Clearview is asking for it. So they can use it on their trucks and equipment in the shop. So I'd said I'd bring it to council for discussion.
My only question is, like, do our trucks not have to pass a inspection yearly? Isn't that a thing? Like from an actual licensed mechanic?
Not yearly inspection, but they do need to, they go in for services, servicing every year.
Well, I was just wondering if that was, because I know like commercial vehicles do.
Well, you'd have to get them inspected.
I think it would be more,
Doing oil changes.
This just basically for the lighter trucks that they're gonna use it for,
yeah, and
then this is overkill.
Yeah.
We can buy a brand new lift for half that cost,
yeah, and
or if it's just gonna be lifting the. Like the trucks, like
I don't know if the
Pickup.
dump,
the pickups, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think the dump trucks will be able to fit in that shop.
I was just gonna say height wise, I don't think.
yeah, height-wise is not,
Yeah, like it's. Yeah, like that's overkill. We could buy a brand new one for half that.
So I mean, if council.
We're interested in doing
Yeah.
that, right? So.
Council would like, we could table it and I can bring back a couple of different other.
Sure.
and
More information too.
The other,
it'd be
con-
nice if we knew roughly how much we have to third party now, like. You know, is 7,500 if, you know, if it's 1,000 or 2,000. You know, does it make much sense?
Yeah, no, and I definitely,
Five though, it sure would, but.
no, I can definitely bring her back and
my other concern or question is insurance and liability. How does that affect that as far as,
yeah,
maybe check into that too, just,
It'll definitely,
I'm assuming it
it'll
will.
definitely change your insurance.
So I'm just thinking there would be an extra cost there too.
General insurance want people that are using it
If you're only
trained.
for
Well, just, I'm just saying it is.
one oil change a year on each truck that gets it.
Yeah.
Does it pay for it? So.
yeah, and I think I need to chat with Louis a bit more about it and
Yeah.
then get back to you guys and then give you a clear understanding of what it's gonna be intended for, because I don't think you're gonna see the grader on there. I don't think there's.
Well, again, I don't, that's not enough height. I don't-
I could,
Not enough height, it's not long enough.
this being able to lift the dump trucks up for some fixes and repairs and maintenance there, but I'd rather go back and find out, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me bring it back to you.
Okay. What do you want to accept as information?
I can,
Marcus, all in favor? Okay,
then if it does take up some space in the shop too, cause,
Yeah,
right, so.
maybe a big unit.
Yeah. And I know they park a lot of stuff in there in the winter too, so.
One thing, if on the cold side, if we converted one of those bays to
Yeah,
put heat in it, then
Cause it's got a higher roof line and stuff too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, they mentioned
Put something like that, and then it'd be more than enough room to use it for the dump trucks and stuff like that too, but.
Okay. 9.6 funding support for community fridge program.
so CDSS wishes to seek council support in funding, community fridge initiative. Which would provide an accessible food resources to residents in need while supplementing existing food bank services. The request includes a possible donation from the town, either as funds towards purchasing the fridge or contribution to the food items to help stock the fridge. The program's being done in Drumheller and Brooks and Lethbridge, and I believe in Hannah now as well. So, the hope is that community members could drop off food when they want. They are allowed to put some grown food from, like, say, the community garden in there, like potatoes, those kind of items. And then the CDSS coordinator director, she's gonna monitor the fridge and make sure that it's taken care of, and anything that's spoiled or anything doesn't stay in there and gets rid of it. Hopefully it'll work. It spoils, but that's what she's kind of taking on the initiative, and she wants to work with us, with the food bank to try and provide more accessibility to food. And I know she has talked to them, and they've had conversations, and they think it's a good idea.
Oh, good. Nice to hear.
Yeah, just another avenue to,
Just an outlet.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Well, there's need out there, we know that.
there's just a need and you're only allowed to go get.
I know I was just gonna say, I know the food bank's not always open, and yeah.
And people need to eat.
Now, it's my understanding this is more like, yeah, like I think they have the money to buy the fridge, it's just going forward as far as if we were willing to.
To help kind of stock it too, right? If there's a lull in
To
things.
me, this would definitely be a budget discussion item. Like when we start doing that next.
And I think right now, there's just more,
Yeah.
it's just more of a kickoff, so
Yeah.
it isn't a yearly thing at this moment, it's just more to help.
I know we've got some money to spend too, so like as far as CDSS.
Yeah, I think it's just more of just finding partners to.
But I think it's a great idea.
So,
Mhm.
yeah, because
Cause it's disheartening to to know how much need is even in our community. It's. Times are tough right now.
and when it's only open one day a month right now for people to access.
Yeah.
If they all of a sudden have a medical appointment, they're out of town that day of the month.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like we have to try and get our food bank. So it's open at least once a week for people to access at minimum.
And it's anonymous too, so it's, you come in and go as you please, there's no one there policing it, so. It's, you know, you take.
I think Carla's intent was to put it out in the lobby out here somewhere. So
Yeah, the plan was for it to be accessible and
that way she can keep an eye on
Monday
it.
to Friday and.
But you kind of, there's plugins just outside her
Yeah.
door there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Were they also thinking of having a small freezer?
Well, it'd be a fridge freezer, like,
No.
Yeah,
it's like a household fridge. but-
there was also talk about like a pantry for some dry goods.
Yes, we did talk about that too,
Well, so
People to come.
like a shelving unit or something.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think it's worth a try and
Yeah.
we can.
I
support it out.
I think we thought there was nothing to lose by trying it anyway and see what kind of,
No, she's brought
how
forward.
people responded to it. So.
So should we just accept his information for now?
Or do we want to put a donation to help get it going? Do they have enough to get it going?
Well, they definitely got enough to get.
Yeah, we got enough to get going, but I think we should,
Like, I want to commit to it. I just back to until we start discussing budget. I don't know what we can really
in our budget discussions, but
commit to it. That's where I'm
A
at.
little bit of community funding in there still that's unspent, that could go towards that, $200, so. To contribute to the initial kickstart of it and then discuss further in the budget.
and it might not be a bad idea, because if we do get it up and going here right away, then
Get over
Christmas coming.
Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, just, it might be fairly well utilized
Oh,
the next
absolutely.
2 months, so.
Yep, and some of the work slows down.
I know that's where my Halloween money's going, is to that, for her to help stock it too, so.
And she was gonna go talk to Highsteads as far as buy it local too.
Yeah, she already had, yeah.
No, great idea.
Would we want to say throw $500 in and we got a little more to get going and. Cause by the time we do, I think we do our interim budget right away, but. by the time-
Yeah, it's not gonna be till after January.
No.
Sure.
Do they have any idea what they think it'll cost to run it for the year? So,
Not at this point.
No, I think she'll have a better idea once we have a year under her belt.
She had just got the idea, I believe, from Hannah, because we were just having some conversations as far as food bank stuff. And that's where it came up. And I'd like to say we do have some extra money this year to try and spend, so we don't have to give it back. And so this was one of her ideas, was to spend it on this.
And it's a way that people that plant big gardens
Yep.
can bring potatoes, and
Exactly.
can drop those potatoes off at the food bank.
Right.
Right, like,
Yep.
but it could be utilized here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and like Mark mentioned too, I forgot, she even mentioned, having a dry goods, shelf or something too, like,
yeah, talked about buying like a small pantry where you could just put some dry good stuff, soup and whatnot into, right? Just a little extra.
Anything, yep.
Yeah, I don't see a problem giving a little bit this.
No, just
And then
need money, yeah.
definitely
Put a line in our budget for some discussions, so.
I'd like to make a motion, we give him $500, start. So we further discuss it during budget.
that moves to give $500 and. Got it further for next year, all in favor? Carried. Council reports.
Yeah. I actually don't have a lot this time. Unfortunately, Wednesday, the 23rd, I was sick with the flu for about 3 days, so unfortunately I missed out on the re-grand opening of the school playground there. And also the Pep Seat local supper. Last Tuesday, October 29th, I attended the curling club meeting. They have been doing a lot of fundraising efforts as far as just to help their club out. They predicted approximately $2,000 made on the community calendar that they sell. They also had the Chase the Ace fundraiser, which brought in over $14,000, which was awesome. Obviously, that's split between the winner and the group, but so far, fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx nothing, but the ice plant is working great. For last year's unexpected little comes in at the end. And they're confident that it's gonna be good. They're hoping to start curling the week of November 20th. They were hoping for 3 nights a week for league. And again, something I told them, or I was asked to bring back, it's a budget discussion item. The bathrooms, sounds like both upstairs and down are requiring some updates. The sinks are really getting rusty, possibly some new toilets. So they just wanted me to bring it back to see if maybe the town would be willing to help them out a little bit. They were gonna get some quotes and stuff too. Going forward. So. And that's pretty much all I have. For this report.
What about the issues when it gets cold with those bathrooms, when they freeze? And get the bad sewer?
Well, I thought they had that.
Did they get that resolved last year?
They did last year, yeah.
I do believe that
I'll
one.
check with them, but.
Yeah, double check, but I'm pretty sure that one's fixed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because
Cause that was a big issue too.
that was a big issue.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, they bought or they're buying an RO water system or whatever, so that they can properly pebble the ice. It was something that was recommended to them by Kevin Martin, I believe, when he was out to try and help them get their ice better. So, and it was not a bad price, the one they found, and they're gonna have it done right and everything, so the warranty is all good, so. That was the other thing too. So, that's all I had.
We can get the ice so Kevin Martin likes it.
Well, I mean, but that's why their leagues are down, because people are happy, and so they're doing everything they can to.
They're
make it
trying
better,
to,
so.
everybody plays on the same
Yep.
ice, so.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
so that's it. For me.
Kind of the same as Brett, didn't have a whole bunch. For some reason, I missed the arena board meeting. I don't know why. But found out the day after I missed it, so,
Oh,
but that could be
Just a timing thing.
timing thing when changing or picking up the board, so I missed that on the 30th anyway, so. Other than that, I had no scheduled meetings. Then I got one issue with the crown lights coming into town. I noticed last night that the bottom of the crown, the lights off at the bottoms.
Yeah, they've done well. I think obviously it's time to.
It's still working though.
They're still working, yeah, it's just that.
Well, they're just drooping.
They're just drooping off the frame of the crown, so,
One of the
Clips of just,
yeah, something, or, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, other than that.
And you can see that from way out on the highway,
Oh, yeah.
even past. Sound pretty good. Okay, went to the Friends of Coronation School grand opening for the inclusive playground. Lots of happy kids and parents. It was nice to see lots of
I saw the video on.
community things like that. It was fun. Later that evening, went to the Eat Local Supper. It was a nice supper and lots of visiting, and some very deserving businesses were awarded, and like, I swear you could see it in their step. They really felt good about getting awards, like some of them for a few days, so. At Casterton District Housing Authority, the renovated rooms are done, and one already had people in it there. I think they might both have now. We're starting on the budget. The 3 vacancies. They have a new stove they bought this summer, which is giving them trouble, and
Oh,
yeah, it's still on warranty, but yeah. The people that work in there went over and above, because when that stove wasn't working, they were cooking on 2 regular stoves, but they're not in the same place, so.
right.
Get lots. Communities in Bloom is quite busy this last little while, worked on budget for next year. And got some soil and for next year. Discussed getting more self-watering plants or converting some of the existing ones along Royal Street to self-watering, because that
They seem to
Just-
work really well.
it just helps. And if you get going with it, you only have to water like twice a week on those ones. It's still have to water between you 3 more and send it out, but yeah. Helped judge Halloween decorations contest. Thanks to all that decorated. There was well over 60, I think there was close to 70 houses had decorations of some kind out there. And they had some very good displays. If a person had a chance, they're mostly taking them down now, but it was well worth driving around to have a look. Got just about all the cash prizes out from that, the Coronation Cash, so there's only one left. We picked the flower colors for next year. They're red, white, and yellow with purple centers in the bigger pots. Ones that stand up good. Christmas tree is picked out. We're getting some new decorations and new lights for it, and the tree was donated by, they call it the Old Goosey Place, so. And it's the only one left standing there. They knocked the other 5 down, so.
You'll put it at the same place as last year. Like by the.
No, this is on 599. East.
Where's the tree gonna go?
Oh, right by the
On the
Mason
corner.
building.
Yeah,
I think did they get the stand in?
Stan was in, yeah.
Get the stand in. Yeah,
yeah,
they've
because once they take the barricades from the
they've
gas building.
flattened down the
Yep.
ruts here, and
No, it seemed to work really good there.
Good. they've worked to it there, so yeah.
I like it in the street better,
I do too, but.
But it's getting the power out to it, so
Oh,
but yeah, that's right, yeah.
it was,
Echo was pretty mean about that one.
If we could just leave that cord along the road, but we can't with snow removal and stuff, unfortunately, so.
well, somebody did think we could just trench it in, but people would comment about that bump forever.
I'm assuming it's doable, Stetler obviously, but yeah, everything comes with a big price tag.
Coronation District Wellness Society, and they're getting a new door lock because some of the existing fobs gave trouble last year in the cold. And donated to Communities in Bloom for the Christmas decorations contest. Oh, and the rest of the stuff I already asked you about, the speed bumps and the resetting the timers for the boulevard lights, so.
One thing I wanted to ask, I forgot, the gazebo that got moved over in the dog park. Does it need some supporting?
It's a little low.
It looks like
It
it
needs-
needs a bit of a,
It needs to be braced some.
yeah, it needs to be.
That's why we moved it out of there, because it was flopping in the wind.
Is there,
We have another gazebo that was donated by Jeff Smith, so that's coming from the golf course. So we're gonna put that one on the cement pad and then we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that one. We might.
well, if it's braced properly, it'd probably be fine, but
Yep.
I'm just wondering too, is there any way we can get some dirt with some grass seed and just throw it down in there and try and get some grass in there,
Yeah,
Proper.
start growing in there?
well, grass would be hard to grow in there with dogs peeing.
Yeah,
We can try it, but you know.
yeah, but dog parks aren't, most dog parks have a nice grass and they're. You don't take your dog to the dog park to come home muddy.
No,
No,
even just some grass seed. Try it before winter.
Yeah, try throwing some stuff down and see if it comes. Try something. Just to-
I mean, that's something I could even volunteer to do for you. It's not gonna take much time to sprinkle some grass seed. Before the snow flies.
Yeah, that could be tonight.
Well, but hopefully it's not gonna stay. Hopefully,
yeah, we might be just about doing it in the spring now.
we might be.
That's all.
And thanks for looking after the cenotaph and the public works guys.
I'll give that all the credits to Public Works for that one, so.
It was very nice to
And I was gonna,
come across and go, oh, good, I don't even have to call. Cause I forgot.
I was gonna thank Public Works for cleaning all the flowers out from the cenotaph, but
That was me.
Deputy Mayor Alderdice did that, so I thanked him on that. We were gonna get to him before the other stuff.
They were kind of in the way of my Remembrance Day crosses, so I just had to do some, it was no big deal.
That's good. It looks good though.
Thank you.
Accept the council reports. All in favor? Carried. Chief Administrative Officer report.
So I'm gonna give a current projects update on a few different projects here. So the Maple Leaf Green World project for the solar panel. We're currently, so the project is currently in limbo until they decide whether or not they're gonna be putting their application in to the AUC, as well as the AESO. So those are the Alberta Utility Commission and the Alberta Electric Systems Operator. They have to file for permitting in order to move forward, period, with the project. Doesn't matter how we look at it, and they've got to do a whole bunch of work and assessments and feasibility studies and environmental studies that they're just kind of right now discussing that amongst themselves. And they're gonna talk to their investors as well and then get back to us. So they're kind of just on hold at this point. The CCTIF project, so we're currently, council should have received an email today of the costs of breakdown for like, it's at around 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. The CCTI project is currently in the critical stage, awaiting the completion of the initial design phase, which is necessary for moving forward with the tendering process for construction. Once finalized, the design will allow for each building within the project to be tendered locally first and then individually. So we're not going to tender all three at the same time. We'll tender each one out on its own as they become ready after abatement's completed. So the hope right now is the old pizza place, one right next to the TD Bank, that'll be tendered out as soon as possible here. They're just kind of cleaning up, verifying the final designs, working with the electrical engineer and the HVAC, those guys. So they're just kind of making sure that everything's gonna flow and where to put it, and they're gonna do tender out on that. So it's right now it's gonna be looking at more of a 4 walls and drywall and envelope. So it's gonna be very,
Yeah.
not gonna be much for office space, and that's inside. It's just gonna be very basic. So open concept.
Stuff that could be added after.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's yeah, so basically and then the financial details were provided to council for the building and then to spend for each project, full remaining amounts left over. The Willow Tree Community Garden Testing Facility, that's proven to be a good project. The federal government's still working on a project. They're still doing data analysis out of there with the trees that they've planted. Most of the trees have come to age now, so they're going to be doing a little more testing out there in the next year. So they were going to reach out to me and let me know when they were coming back. SBA tower for the telecommunications, that project is on hold. SBA has exercised their right to, underneath the agreement, to pay $500 for an extension into the 2025 year for a decision. So we're waiting on them to make their final decision on whether or not they're gonna be proceeding or not with the construction of the tower. Greenhouse development opportunity, that greenhouse development opportunity project is currently on hold, possibly canceled due to the power limitations that we have. We don't have any adequate power in the facility, and unfortunately, they can't use their own solar to power their own building because it's against the law. So they're looking at some options right now, but it's not great.
What would it cost us to upgrade the power?
We would need to go through the AUC and the AESO to get transmission lines upgraded and a substation upgrade. We just don't have adequate capacity on the lines. It's provincial, and let's start with a few different levels of B. Working with the county and then advocating to those two entities to upgrade.
Maybe we need to do that, because if we don't have adequate power for that, how are we gonna attract anything else?
Exactly.
I've already been working on that, trying to get some traction on that. I know Braid's been working on that. I know PEPS is working on that. I know that Palace Economic Partnership's working on that. There's, because the whole region is an issue. It's not just Cornish.
Oh, I understand that, but
So there's been quite a bit of advocacy work already, and I know that our MLA is very, very aware of it. And there has been some high level discussions, but basically what we've been told is that we have to find the investors and the demand, and we have to build it, and then basically they'll build it around what's built, which
why would we build it if they aren't gonna guarantee that they're gonna have a power supply there?
I thought that was our counter argument. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all.
So
Makes zero sense.
no investor is gonna invest $24 million on a facility and then
Right?
power gets hooked up to it, so.
10 years later.
Yeah. There's been quite a lot of push to get that, so, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to, in the future, I think in the early next year, to maybe try and do some more advocacy work on it, for sure.
Well, yeah, they get our, like, yeah, get our partners like the county and us writing letters.
Yeah, because it is
After-
an issue. It's
yeah.
a major issue for
Yeah.
the nation.
It
We're
can't,
basically landlocked for development.
yeah, I was gonna say, it can't hurt us to, yeah, especially when they keep telling us
It's
to,
the biggest setback.
yeah, to try and promote ourselves for developers. Well, how can we if,
We need power.
yeah, if we don't have adequate power for any businesses anymore?
Well, the question is, if we can't get the industry and you can't get the jobs here, then who's gonna wanna build?
Exactly.
And the other issue is, do we have enough adequate power for even residential buildings?
Yeah.
So, and that's the other question that's gotta be answered too, so.
Mhm.
There's a bit of work that needs to be done on the provincial level, and there. Through our MLA's office needs to be a little bit more on top of it, I believe, but. It's challenging, because I think that they're also hitting some major roadblocks as well.
Yeah, well, that's what they're there for, to do for us.
Mhm.
Are they not?
The affordable housing project, so I did kind of touch on that tonight, so part of that is trying to get the land use bylaw and the municipal development plan to allow these types of projects and these development builds. The project has been kind of moving steadily forward. We've been working on updating the affordable housing statistics that we did a couple of years ago, so that's getting redone right now, so we have a better accurate count. Considering after the last couple of years, I think the needs been a little bit, the needs changed from what we initially thought it was, and I think it's probably great. So we do have that report coming in very short time here. I believe it's probably gonna be done tomorrow, I'm hoping, so. The project then, we would be looking at trying to continue on with the CMHC loan application, just to kind of see what the matrix are. And then also waiting, I believe, still waiting for the Alberta Provincial Housing Fund to open. We don't know when it's gonna open. There's no announcements on it, so when it's open, and it's closed in 2 weeks.
Of course.
We have to be ready
And it
to.
might be open for a short period of
Yeah.
time.
So we're trying to make this as ready as possible to see what we can get out of it, to then come back and provide that information to council on whether council wishes to move forward or not with the project, because we don't know what we're gonna be allowed to get out of these programs. So we actually programs, so. we're kind of at that point now where we're trying to build as much information, provide as much information, but the housing assessment itself and the cost estimates that we're designing right now, trying to get us a good number of what it's gonna cost to build these, but also what we would need to funding, what we're gonna need to finance. So there's the hope is that through CMHC, there's a large forgivable portion up to 30%. And then we need to figure out what we qualify for, because they won't tell you what you qualify for until you apply. So we're running into a lot of these weird governmental things where they won't tell you anything until you actually put your application in. The arena, so we have reapplied for the green and inclusive community building program for $9,999,999.99. Just we're not allowed to say it's 10 million. So this was a application last year and we're not successful. We were then they reached out and told us to reapply, and they strongly encouraged us to reapply for this intake. So I've changed the application a little bit, and we provided a little bit more information that we received after the fact. So we're hopeful that we'll see where that kind of goes and move forward.
Did we reach out to some communities that got this grant to see what they did that maybe we didn't do?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
So we did work with one community actually worked with us, and they reviewed our application for us and kind of helped us submit it this time. So we're hoping that. But again, we won't know until we know.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it took, I believe, almost 9 months. Since last time to get any feedback, so there wasn't really any quick answer. Moving on to the ACP grant for the swimming pool that was applied for, and we submitted that back in. We had to have that done by October 1st, so that was submitted, and that'll go towards pre-design stages, and that'll be in collaboration with the County of Penrith. So hopefully that will help if we can get that grant. We'll know by February, so we can apply that and start getting on that project right away. The Alberta Rural and Neil Stream designation for Penrith region, we have started taking in applications. We have been working with a couple local individuals, and I believe a few people from Brownfield as well. So if people have questions about it, they can definitely reach out to the office, and if I can't answer questions, we'll direct them over to some of the people that can help out. Our biggest message to a lot of callers that we have been getting is a lot of them are expecting us to place them with a job. We do not place you with a job. So you have to have your own employment, your own residence, you have to have your own housing before you come talk to us. So we have to make sure that everyone understands that we are not here to be a job.
We're not a job source, yeah.
We're not involved in that at all. It's, you have to prove to us that you have all of these already established, and we can provide you with some. Emergency management. So on October 14th, we're going to be doing a mock disaster with the County of Penrith, Castor, Alberta Emergency Management team from Edmonton, as well as the Town of Coronation and Fire Department. So that'll be hosted here in Coronation at the Community Hall on the 14th between 10 and 1. And then staff in the office here have been working on updating our emergency management community information and our binders and our contact lists. So I will be reaching out to the committee members on council for a meeting probably in January, February. Because we'll want to get that out to council as well, have that committee meeting so we can start getting back onto that as a regular schedule.
So I won't be around that week just because of the FCSS convention.
We'll probably have to make it work for everyone.
You know.
But yeah, we'll try and make sure that the emergency management committee can meet right away and get all the information and then the relevant information back out to council. I think that's it for my updates.
Questions for Glenn?
Can I give you some direction? No? I'd like to see us write some letters to the government regarding this power issue.
Yeah.
To MacGyver, our MLA, just saying, like we've had industry approach us, they wanna set up here, but
There's no power line.
we don't have it. They want us to be more self-sustaining, try to attract business to promote our region so that
we have a better tax base so that we don't come to them with our hands out all the time. Well, if they're not helping us out in rural,
That's right.
we need help from them for certain things. We're not the power companies.
We can't direct the power companies.
No.
They can.
Yeah,
I would suggest that this also be, maybe an advocacy piece for Alberta municipalities as well.
Mhm.
The challenge that we have is coordination alone stands to lose close to $40 million in investment in industrial projects, so that's quite a large sum of money for coordination not to be receiving in linear tax, well, just in tax revenue, so it is, one of those things that I think that Alberta municipalities needs to be aware of for all small rural municipalities. As far as it's quite a number.
can't hurt to send it to a letter to them either.
And it could be a discussion that we could maybe try and get it a resolution next year as well.
Yeah.
We were successful this year in getting that resolution.
We know, again, every community in the province should be in the same boat, so. I'm sure they should support it.
So, and I know for the asset retirement obligation, the ARO, we were successful this year as well for our resolution that we put forward, and that received what, 72% success, so. I think this would be another one of those things that it needs to be allowed a larger organization voice that helps it do.
When you're an hour outside of that corridor, things seem to get forgotten.
Mhm.
And people seem to get forgotten.
Yeah, because our current substation is only adequate for 10 megawatts. And
Yeah.
most industry needs 100 megawatts. So there was a discussion that we had with a company, for example, that can produce its own power. They just needed a space. They can produce they're all self-sufficient. Well, with the AUC, sorry, that's not permitted in Alberta. You can't produce your own power and be off the grid. You have to be connected to some sort of distribution system or provider in order to get their, so they can get their distribution and transmission and administration piece. That's how I see it.
Want their cut.
Just to build it and.
I'm not gonna say any
Them
more.
to come and-
That's right.
They want their,
But it was, they can produce their own power to produce, to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And they were just looking for space, and we have obviously out here have tons of space for that kind of work, and it wasn't permitted. It's not allowed. So, challenge.
I'd just like to give some direction for, yeah.
Well,
Well, like, you're all about telling us what to do for ourselves. Well, help us
yeah,
Exactly.
let, we'd love to do it, but we're just not getting, we don't have what we need to help ourselves.
I'd like to get some more business and some more people out here, not just raise taxes.
That's right.
Tell us to do.
And we have sure tried.
Any more questions for Quentin?
I'm
Recommends accept the CAO report, all in favor? Accounts payable. That's a lot less than the last one.
It's it where? Had it open.
Do we have any concerns on the?
Is that Alberta Health Services? Is that just like clinic rent or something?
Correct, yeah.
Want to make sure.
I'll make a motion, we pay the bills, unless there's other questions.
Recommends to pay bills, all in favor? Carried. Revenue and expense report. Somebody shared there's that LGFF grant is in there. But does that just get applied for at the end of the year? Or,
So we do not receive the money unless we apply for it.
yeah, like with the library,
Yeah,
that we, at the end of the year, we'll apply for that and then it'll be on there?
yeah, so operating is treated differently. So LGFF operating, we already allocated that out into the library board areas, so it'll come up as in those departments, and then the additional remaining will just be in the main part of it.
That just got paid out just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And the campground is closed now, so.
Yeah, I think it is done now. Everything's entered.
I'm missing something on the campground expense side. Seems low. Like. Where's the campground attendance wage come out of? Contracted services or salaries and wages?
Should be in contracted services.
Yeah, cause it just seems awfully low.
Yeah, it's only 13 months old.
I can check into that in case something's been maybe posted into.
Just posted into the wrong, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I think a campground looked quite good this year.
That,
Didn't have any complaints about the campground this year.
Hmm.
That was quite well. Sorry to interrupt you. There we
no, I was
go.
just gonna make a motion to accept the revenue and expenses presented.
Motion to accept revenue expense. All in favor? Carried.
let's see, we have something in camera. So I'll make a motion. Go in camera.
Camera, all in favor? Carried.